I don't know about y'all, but a long time ago, a wise person who is my father told me something that just kind of stuck with me throughout the course of my life. And that was, don't ever try to do people purposefully dirty. Now, sometimes you're gonna do things, you're gonna have falling outs, but essentially what he was trying to say is be careful of how you treat people because you never want to burn bridges because you don't know who can come back and impact your life in a positive or a negative way. Now, with that life lesson in mind, during my last live stream, I saw something that just screamed out, this is karma at its finest. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you are familiar with any video of Tiffany Henyard rocking that pink hat with the teary eyes is when reality set in that she was outgamed, outmaneuvered, and out finessed by a much savvier, experienced politician. Now, I did do a video where I did a deep dive and talk about if this will hold up or not. I'll put the link to that video somewhere on the screen right now. Okay, now let's take a look and see how karma circled back around to kick the Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard right in the ass.
And tonight's decision was made within minutes, with Tiffany Henyard receiving a blow to her reelection efforts.
A packed gym room at the Homewood Flossmoor Park District erupts in cheers as the Democratic Party caucus for Thornton Township decided to deny embattled current Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard's name from being on the ballot in April. State Senator Napoleon Harris now nominated as the Democratic challenger for that position.
So to hear the people tonight, you heard them express how wonderful it was to finally get rid of her.
It was the first time in 30 years that Township Democrats used a caucus to determine who will be on the ballot. Those seeking the nomination for Township Supervisor needed.
Now, I will tell you, as I said in that video, that caucus, let's just keep it a buck. A 7-minute caucus just on his face sound like it was problematic, sound like it could be some procedural issues there, could be a right issue for litigation. But let's tune in because we got to find out what's really going on with Tiffany Henyard and her slate and why she can't be on the ballot.
It was the first time in 30 years that Township Democrats used a caucus to determine who will be on the ballot. Those seeking the nomination for Township Supervisor needed all 8 people for that slate, which includes Supervisor, Highway Director, Clerk, Assessor, and 4 trustees. Henyard did not have a certified assessor on her ticket, deeming her invalid for consideration.
According to that news story, you need a full slate to be able to have your name placed on the ballot. Tiffany Henyard was missing a certified assessor, but why would or could she be missing a certified assessor? Now, of course, Tiffany Henyard is saying that she had a full slate and is challenging the process. We get that. We understand there's more taxpayer money that's going to be used up in litigation, which is just ridiculous. I feel sorry for the people in the Thornton Township. But at some point, Thornton Township had an assessor. Tiffany Henyard had an assessor as a supervisor. Let's look back to see how karma circled back and kick her in the ass. What was going on between Tiffany Henyard and the assessor at the Thornton Township?
When she says everything's been moved out of your office, they've put you over into another section.
Right now at 9:30, a South Suburban elected official gets a rude surprise as she learns she's been locked out of her own office.
She believes it's dirty politics by another elected official who is now at the center of multiple controversies.
Fox 32's Dane Placco reports on another bizarre day in politics in Thornton Township.
So this is the assessor's office.
Cassandra Elston has been the assessor here in Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
Now it's just out in the open. So it has.
So the one person on her slate who she did not have a little over a year ago, she locked the Thornton Township assessor out of her office, will not let her engage in doing her job, which is really to serve the people. This is absolute karma. The one person who you look like you tried to do dirty a little bit, you tried to lock her out of her office for whatever the reason was. I didn't even go back and look, but it's just quite interesting and hilarious that when we look now, that's the one person who you don't have certified officially on your slate, which looks like it's making you ineligible to actually even be placed on the ballot. Let's finish watching this story, then we're going to wrap it up.
Taxpayer's name, address.
So who did this to you?
Well, I mentioned this new supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
When Tiffany Henyard has become a political lightning rod since she was elected mayor of Dalton, making $46,000 a year, and last year appointed Thornton Township Supervisor at more than $200,000 a year.
This is Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Supervisor Henyard.
Last week, Fox 32 and the Illinois Answers Project investigated how Henyard is using Dalton and Thornton Township tax money, employees, and equipment to fund a cancer charity in her name. Elston has been critical of Henyard's spending at the township and believes getting kicked out is political payback.
But this is not going to stop me. This is my job. This is what I get paid to do.
She's the assessor. She invited us inside.
And that's when township security officers stepped in.
Okay. So you're refusing to leave? Yes.
South Holland police were called to the scene, and they agreed with us that the assessor had every right to invite us into her
The news
office.
crew is here to do an interview on me.
Does Tiffany Henyard have any right to do this?
Not only Tiffany Henyard, but nobody has any right to do this to a separate elected official like the assessor.
The assessor's lawyer, Bert Odelson, tells me they plan to file a lawsuit in Cook County demanding she get her office back.
It is extremely illegal.
Is you can do and say pretty much what you want to say or do to me. But when you start doing things that affects the taxpayers, that's why I draw the line.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Hey, shout out to she looks like she is actually concerned about people and actually trying to do her job. I just found it hilarious that the assessor that you locked out of the office, you threw people sensitive information, their PII, their name, their social, their date of birth, all in the common area for everyone to see. The one person who you tried to do dirty a little over a year and a half ago came back to bite you in the ass because that's the person who you needed to have a full slate so you could potentially have your name on the ballot. The even funnier part is that it appears, from co-counsel in the chat the other day, that this person is actually listed on another nominee slate. I think that's irony at its finest. The moral of this story is don't be a Henyard. Be careful how you treat people. Be careful of the bridges you burn. You never know how people could impact your life in a positive or negative way. Yo, if you enjoyed this video, check out the content on the screen. There's going to be more content related to attorney reactions.